Oh, at the Axial Seamount, the underwater volcano off of Oregon's west coast and Washington, as a matter of fact, we happened to find some stuff that was happening today, and we wanted to get that to you. And we're gonna get also what will happen in this scenario and the alerts. This is the ash vent right here that we're showing you as you're tuning in. This is ocean observatories. We're gonna get you this information because something is happening at Actual Seamount and it's not being talked about right now. But I'm going to show you, like, right here. If you look, the following video is a live feed, and recently they just came out and said that if you go onto the live website, you get all this information. They've come out and said that this right here, one of the cameras was interrupted facing the far left side of the mushroom hydrothermal vent. The issue was isolated to the pan and tilt assembly, so the scripts were edited to run as adjusted 14-minute zoom only schedule every 3 hours daily. 24-hour 72 and brush routines are not currently running. Options for potential remediation of the pan and tilt issue are being explored. So we're not getting footage, but here's what they are showing right here. They're showing the zoom in. So what I did is this is a time lapse of about 14 minutes put into just 2 minutes. So nobody want to sit here and watch 14-minute time lapse. So what we did though is we could see that just the vent right here, this is half of the ash field. And we're going to show you specifically what we're talking about. Usually these live feeds though, we're going to come back to that. These live feeds run every 3 hours. This is 250 miles off Oregon coast, 1 mile underwater HD video streams and live over the internet through OOI's regional cable array sit-to camera. Live video streams of activity venting hydro chimney. It's not happening. And I'm gonna give you some information here that basically when the things start to go down, what to look for. This is actually the observatory that's going to give you the information. So again, moving back into this while we're live right here, as we can look on the camera, we could see new openings here. And you see that red in the thumbnail because this is along the area where it actually erupted in 2015. And that area is not centered anymore, where it's like closed because the magma chamber collapsed. Where are you tuning in from right now? And why do you think they shut this feed off? Is this suspect? Do you not like this? Because we need a lot more information. In this area, we just had earthquake strike and a rupture is opening up right here by Washington and Vancouver. Right here. So that long little cable line you're seeing, that's where the OOI regional array system, they're going to send out the alerts if something happened. But if they don't, I'm going to be looking into this because I'm going to show you the warning signs that we need to look for here in just a second. You can see that little piece of like underwater volcanic looking situation as well. Over the last course of just days, months, and weeks, we have the October 7th, 2025 on Washington EDU. You can see where all the activity is hitting the caldera at. This is the ashes vent field. We were just showing you the area where the magma chamber collapsed. And you can see all the earthquakes, 2.5 kilometer depth happening over the past 7 days and the past 30 days. And a bunch of them is just 1 kilometer. Gotta watch that because we don't want that chamber to collapse again. Deborah Kelly actually was the one who said that the chamber right here, you can see right here. So do you see vent fields? If you're right now live, can y'all see the vent fields also where it says Juan de Fuca spreading? That's where this thing is going separate ways. If you look in the lower right corner, if you can't see vent fields, I want to show you this because this is where we're looking at the camera feed from. Can y'all see that? It says vent fields. There's a little star right there. This is the only camera feed right now we're getting to see. The only footage is coming from that specific location. So we can't really see the ground anymore. I showed you last month there was a crack that I saw because every time there's an eruption, actually there's something happening to the seafloor. It's expanding. And this is going to be a very critical situation to analyze. Over October 6th, we saw just a little bit of Basically, just hydrothermal activity, which was normal today, it just sped up by a little bit more. The problem is we're not getting though the actual feed 24/7 footage like we used to every like 3 hours per day. I don't like that at all. I don't know what you guys think about that right now, but we're giving you more about this situation. If something does happen, here's what we need to look for. People says there, Lake Chilean, Washington has bubbles coming up. Okay, I'm looking in a live chat right now because this is going to be what people want to look at. We've been gathering investigative info from people. Ellen in the chat. All right. So you said that's happening. We need footage of that. We need video. Everybody wants to see that because we have bubbles coming up off of the Vancouver area. And that was where a new rupture has opened up off of that area. And that was like little, volcanic potential gases or even methane. We'll have to keep watching that because that's something that the locals said they didn't see. And we got a video from that. Anybody else seeing anything strange in activity? Let's look into this right here about this situation, because if we look at, there's also a fracture, a fissure in the caldera. So if you can see right here, it's these red lines you can see that's going through it. This is where the fissure at. This is where it could separate if more uplift or magma starts to move up. So the vent field and everything else is the only area on the live feed, once again, that we're able to see. I seen just last month, they were removing these pieces off of the ground. I'm like, why is this happening? But this is actually something they go and do on a regional level. Now, the other situation is they have not prepared the public really for the worst case. They keep saying that, oh, nothing's really going to happen, if it's not going to reach the coastlines. But we actually found information about the alerts that will be sent out, what I can look for. Me and you right now, subscribe if you're here, because we're going to be getting out all the actual seamount information while it's breaking, while it's coming out, as other people don't even pay attention to it. And they just look at articles and say, oh, it could erupt. Oh, it could erupt. Oh, let's look into the actual data though. So if we look at what Deborah Kelly says, she says nothing much is going to happen. But let's look at this right here. While experts consider catastrophic worst case scenario for Axial Seamount highly unlikely, the most devastating event would involve a flank side collapse of the volcano. A massive underwater landslide could displace enough water to generate a powerful tsunami that could affect coastal communities along Pacific Northwest. However, the most probable worst case effects could be confined to the deep ocean, killing local marine life and damaging monitoring equipment. So live feed here once again for everybody. This is not the live video. This is the edited videos that they are now showing us. October 7th, only of one side of the ash field, which this right now tells us so many different things that potentially maybe they don't want something soft. Potentially maybe it is a normal malfunction. But for me, I'm always thinking that maybe there is something else going on the other side of this. There was just an earthquake today, but it was only a 3.5. This is close to the California-Washington border type area. We'll be looking at more of these situations as it comes. So here's the scenarios we need to be looking at though for this actual seamount situation. Destructive tsunami, and I'm going to show you the areas that could be affected. If a flank of the volcano were to collapse and slide into the deep water, it would displace a huge volume of water. To generate destructive tsunami, while the distance from the coast, about 300 miles, would diminish the wave's power, it could still have impact on Oregon and Washington's coastline. Let's look at this right here. This shows us kind of like the situation, not really going all the way down that far, but you can see Cascadia subduction zone is right there. Now the question is Cascadia going to be affected as well? Now the Juan de Fuca Plate, if you look down there, they found a new rupture zone right there where there's a crack opening up between this area, right there where the Blanco fracture zone is too. So we're looking at, okay, is San Andreas going to be, because now it's a new study that came out just today talking about how Cascadia subduction zone, San Andreas are kind of connected. For the longest they said, oh, it's not connected, but now that's come out to be a absolute non-truth. Appreciate that super chat from Big thoughts by a little sister. Okay. Oh, yesterday though, I put out a world alert. I'm not done with this video yet, but world alert: the hidden earthquake orders. I'm dropping that link in the live chat right now, and it's going to be after the video as well because I put out so much critical information about world militaries. All of a sudden, saying we're putting our differences aside for the largest earthquake drill ever, and they're going to use this for crisis management control. So as we go through this, nobody's telling you that this drill happened and we put the pieces together. Also, the artificial moon systems and everything else that is currently starting to look like is playing a factor here. So here's the other situations, how alerts are issued when the actual seamount has a situation. I'm tapped into the area that gives out the alerts. The OOI uses C4 instruments to detect two key signs of an eruption: an increase in depth change greater than 10 centimeters an hour over 20 minutes. Rapid subsidence, which is land sinking in that area, decrease in depth changes less than negative 10 centimeters over an hour, 20 minutes. Now, this is important because when we look at the risk of the underwater volcano, past eruptions of the actual seamount, each time the volcano erupted, the magma rose in the shallow chamber underneath the seafloor, causing the volcano to inflate and bulge a little bit upwards. So yeah, there is some uplift happening here. We can go into the area once again, showing you right now. That's some of the feed here. We're going to go back into it so you can see a little bit when we go to the cable array on October 7th. So in the area in the middle, a fissure, and we have the red in there because that's the area where the lava and everything else flows, the magma, all these different chambers and stuff like that. We're only getting footage though. You see that blue dot, the blue dot way at the bottom. We're only seeing the outermost part of this from the live feed video I showed you. We can see that little hole there looking like a small little opening as well. So this is the seafloor map right now of the situation that basically we got to continue to monitor. If there is uplift starting to happen, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be giving you that information live. But about this scenario right now, what are you actually seeing in your localized area if you're off Oregon coast and off the coastlines of these areas, just so that we can stay updated? Cheyenne says, thanks, JW, no problem. Slam the like button. And if you leave the video, you definitely should go to my channel, get the survival alerts, because we're actually covering a lot of situations that a lot of people are not looking at. World alert: the hidden earthquake orders is going to be one of the most important videos that I've just recently did. They tried to hide that from you. You definitely shouldn't allow that to be hidden. Okay, looking at just another piece of information here on the front of the actual seamount. Now, as we start getting quakes off of the Cascadia subduction zone, as the fractures start to move in these areas, we're going to have to monitor this a little bit more closely. So I'm going to do something that nobody else is going to do, and I'm going to be giving these live updates on this most likely 2 to 3 times a month. I'm going to try to do these streams so you can come back and get all this information as we're seeing these different activity, seismic alerts. And some people are going to say, oh, they always get earthquakes. That's not the point. The point is we're watching exactly where it's hitting at. Is it hitting along the fractures? Is it spreading more? Is it uplifting more? So that we can know a little bit about the situation. Once it starts to go, what we're going to see is within 24 hours, like this rapid increase in activity. Esdura, appreciate that super chat. Thank you for always providing this info. We are in the dark from the government, NASA, and more. Oh, yeah, exactly. So we're just trying to provide the information that is very critical to everybody and their family so that they can have an early warning system. Now that we know what to look for, though, we'll be tracking that and monitoring that so that we can give you information, because this live feed is now shut. And that makes me want to be more urgent to get on that. Because, again, the hydro chimney occurred during the hours of 2, 5, 8, 11 EDT and PDT, day and night, for a duration of 14 minutes now. So they've chopped the camera feed down to 14 minutes. It used to be longer than that. It used to be like feeds for hours. But we only get to see one location. So this is telling me something may be happening here that we really need to keep an eye on. And I don't know if you feel that way, but I think that this is going to really tell us a lot. I appreciate that super chat from Bath Chakma. So if you're tuning in right now, what location are you tuning in from? And what are you going to be affected from this? Because if you are, then that means you just need to stick around here a little bit more. Somebody says, don't forget immigrants being put into the camps to order around the homeless and the criminals and mentally ill. Yeah. All along the West Coast, they have gotten disaster funds. Senator Jeff Merkley, he's asked for the disaster funds along the way. So you see where, let me line something up. Let me line this picture up for you. You see where this zone that looks orange is yellow, where the Cascadia is. This is where they're doing this experiment, putting microbes in the soil, saying that we don't want the ground to sink. Also, they're also getting disaster camps ready, like disaster areas where they're getting these funds from FEMA as well. So along this strip, to me, why would you really want to have disaster shelters so close? You probably should move back a little further. Because again, if the ground starts to sink and if these microbes don't work, I'm going to pull this up. Where they're talking about putting these microbes in the soil. I know some of y'all may already know about it, but some of you might not know about it. I don't think I did. I don't think I do have it up though. All right, so I don't have it right now, but I know they are putting microbes in the soil to make sure that, we're going to see if the land don't sink. Okay, well, we'll see if that works, because if all this starts to slide down, I don't know how that's going to work. And I don't know how they expect that to be something very effective. Appreciate the other $20 super chat. When you do this, you donate, you support, you help the mission keep going. Because again, when you're live, actually they even pay you less. But for me, I'm just trying to get the message out. I'm trying to get all the information to you so that you can know right away what's the scenarios that's going to be happening here. So for people just tuning in, I want you to see that the routine camera has been adjusted because they say there's an issue, a pan tilt issue. I tapped into this last night, found this out and said, wait a minute, I got to get this to everybody right away because this doesn't seem right. Something is off here. And if we continue to see, I'm going to give you the live feed. So here we are at the live feed. Let's look at it one more time. Let's finish the full footage out. Just a month ago, I was able to tap in and show you all of the different parts of whenever the smoke and all the hydrothermal vent. I could show you the actual full. I seen when they were on the ground grabbing objects and everything. That's been cut. So we've been cut off, but the instruments, the data fields is not cut off. The uplift fields, whenever the upwelling and everything starts happening. Here we go. So you seen that little quick zoom out. Now the camera blacked out. That was the end of the feed when they cut it. So you don't really get to see much after that. It was a full zoom out at first. And when they did a full zoom out, you would see the whole like little volcanic vent. And then you could see around the area. And then you would see like the rocks and everything. And you could see if the ground was like splitting open or anything. You can't see it. I just don't like it. I don't like what's going on here. Maybe it's normal, but in my head, I'm not thinking it's normal. But so again, this is going to be something that we're going to consistently have to keep you updated on, and you can share this out with people. JWTV Disaster Guide, the West Coast, East Coast Guide. Again, right here on the screen, $5.99. We talk about the West Coast. We talk about what the military has mapped, what they plan for, and what would be the collapse zones and certain things that they're looking at from west to east to New Madrid. Now we section off each section so that it was detailed enough for you to just get that, and then we had to move on to the next section. But it's stuff you can learn from each areas. We talk about the ground sinking zone, specific counties, all of that. We have that link in the live chat. But if you do super chats as well, I appreciate that just as much because it helps through the mission as we fight the system that is actively doing the most they can to make sure channels like this don't really get their message out. And it's actually a lot of channels actually facing stuff right now. But I just know the mission here we have really helps lives and helps save lives. And I'm doing everything I can for you, everybody, each and every day. You don't know, I spend like 8, 9 hours doing this a day, but I love it. But it's just that when you go through all of this and you have a community, you want to be positioned a little bit more on the financial level. Because I feel like if I did have to do on ground stuff, I would want to do that. It's just things are limited at certain times, but God sees fit and he will figure it all out and everything will happen there. So I appreciate you. But remember, the video that you should check out is the last one I just did. I put hours into that and I think it's highly critical. World alert, the hidden earthquake orders. This put the huge picture in place. Don't miss it. I'll have it right there in the live chat. Click it right after this and it'll be on